Good evening. My name is Tammy Janzen, and this evening I'm going to work on in QuickBooks Accountant for Accounting. I'm going to work on Chapter 7, Case 3, using the company Aloha Properties. We created this company in Chapter 6, and I've made a copy of that, and you can see at the top we're using Aloha Properties. And there is 25 transactions in all, and I will just go through a few of those to kind of do the highlights. Some of them were the same. For instance, event number 1 that happened in January of 2014, Venture Travel purchased capital stock from Aloha in exchange for $50,000 cash and was deposited. If I go in here and I can show you if you go under lists, chart of accounts, I can look under capital stock. I'll double click on that account, and you can see here that there's an entry for that Adventure Travel purchased that capital stock for $50,000 and it was deposited into the checking account. Okay. One of the next items, we show that we're receiving a payment on account from General Motors, and they use a check for that. We can go into receive payments, and one example is if I was to put in General Motors, it would pull it up, which they've already paid. There's nothing, no open invoices on their account. So I'm going to escape out of there, and I do not want to record this. But if I go into the customers, and we click on General Motors, and if I go into Quick Report, and I want to say all up here on the dates, you can see that the invoice was at the end of the year, 12/31/13. We received the payment according to the steps in the case problem. I can double click on this payment here, and it will show that General Motors, we received $75,000 on check 6874. And when I did this transaction, I just hit save and close. The next step on those, it asks us in the problem, is we can go into banking and make deposits. And there's nothing there now. Of course, I'm done with the problem, but otherwise it would have popped up a box and said, would you like to deposit this check for $75,000? And so I would check the box, make sure the deposit date was the date of January 4th, and save and close. Okay. Other items that we did on the problem here was we were writing checks, so I would click on write checks. It would tell us the check number, the date. We could pay to the order of. You can click on the down arrow, maybe I paid. One example was AT&T, and you could click over here and put in the amount, and then it was telling us to, charge that we paid for telephone expense for the month. So then you could choose the account here, whichever category it was, save and close. So I will escape out of there. I do not want to record this since I've already done this problem. So there was quite a few checks written in the problem. We received a deposit from a customer, and that's where you can go into receive payments. And as I stated earlier, you can receive a payment this way. Let me escape back out of there. And then like I said, or you can just record deposits. Depends on what you're looking at. A couple different options there. It also asked us to record some sales receipts. So we could go in here and create a sales receipt. And we could pick like our customer, maybe it was ExxonMobil, did they pay by cash, check, a few times they did MasterCard, we had one with American Express, maybe they used a Visa, but this problem was MasterCard and American Express. Don't have to have the number, of course, for the problem. Real life, we would have the number expiration date. You would just click done. Of course, I could choose the date, the sales receipt number, if we used a check. Then we could put the check number in here. We would choose what item the sales receipt was for. So maybe they had the Moana Unit 1, for 1 week. That was quite a few of the examples. There's the amount. And then we could pick if it had sales tax, which it added that. And you can see if we click in here, there's $2,080 tax at the 4%. You could save and close. If you're just doing one, save and new if you wanted to do another one right away. So I will escape out of there. We're not going to save that. So there was quite a few sales receipts. Asked us to create some invoices. Excuse me, same thing. You could pick, a customer there, Berkshire Hathaway, the date, invoice number, pick the terms, if they were due on receipt, quantity, maybe if it was one, what was the item code that was, billed on the invoice. So some were the villa for a week, 3,000, same thing with the Hawaii sales tax, save and close. I will escape out of there. Like I said, it asked us to deposit the funds. And then basically payroll was towards the end of the project on event number 25. And I just clicked on pay employees. And it would take us in here, and I picked the period I would type in January 31st, 2014. Same thing for the paycheck. And the check was dated January 31st of 14. Made sure we were in the checking account, not in the Bank of Hawaii. You could click on both employees. Let's see, we're going to say continue, which will escape out of here. And if you pick both those employees, I went into open paycheck detail. I put in the withholdings, like federal withholding, Social Security, same thing for the company. And like I said, I'm going to cancel out of here. I'm going to escape out of there. So we're not actually going to do the payroll. And then it asked us to print certain reports. And I have saved those, memorized those reports under my name for Aloha Properties. I have a balance sheet, profit and loss statement of cash flows, and transaction list by date. And one of the important things that it talked about in the project here in the case was to make sure accumulated depreciation was at the bottom of the fixed asset list. And how I did that is I went into list, chart of accounts, and there's a little diamond. And let me show you here on the side, a little diamond here. And so if you click on this diamond, you can see the cursor changes and you can drag an account up or down where you want it. So I moved accumulated depreciation from up here above buildings underneath land. Okay, and so basically I printed those reports, I saved them, and that's what we submitted. So then we can take a look at the picture of what happened in January 2014 for Aloha Properties. Thank you.